Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my little channel in cyberspace, CraftCoBudgets. My name is Danny and we are on a journey towards a debt-free life. Today is Sunday, October 8th. Sundays I do my weekly check-in and record what we spent for the week. Excuse me. If we spend out of our bank account with our debit card and any credit card spending, I record it. Then we pull the cash from the appropriate envelopes and return the cash to the bank to cover those expenses. With the credit card spending, we pull that cash also from our envelopes and pay the credit card off. So we do not retain a balance on the credit card that we use. All right, so we're going to start. This week, we didn't spend anything on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm putting it as spending, which is coming out of my envelope, and that was $20. And I refilled my Starbucks card because it was a rough week. I needed Starbucks, so I do save the change, but because I paid out exactly $20, we have no change. And then I had to pay for some shipping, which is out of my business binder. I'll just put business here. And we put 20, and that was actually, let me get my calculator. I saved the change. It's just a little way that I try and add to our buffer in our account. So the total, it was, let's see, $20, and the actual total was $19.33. So that's 67 cents we keep in the bank. Wednesday, I had to buy some supplies. I had a bit of a drama with some of the supplies I use. I couldn't find what I usually use. And then I was on a bit of a rampage to try and find it, which I did. That comes out of my business binder as well. I don't know why. I just used our debit card. I don't know why. I'm trying to, curb that a bit. So that was $38, and the actual total was $37.25. So that's 75 cents to save the change. And I think, I just dropped my pen. Oh well, we'll just use a different color. Okay, so that is all the spending we did. I do have these categories down here, account buffer. What that means is if I didn't have enough cash, or for any reason we had to spend out of the buffer, we would write it on here. Bank spending, which is I've done in green. I usually do the credit card spending in a different color, but we had no credit card spending this week. I usually record that here so I know how much has to go back to the credit card. I do have this section for cash spending. I've been trying to figure out a way to monitor what is coming out of our envelopes to get an idea of exactly how much cash, including the bank spending, ideally how much we are spending exactly every week, including cash. I am starting that tomorrow, being Monday the 9th. I have put in some trackers. Every time we take money out of an envelope, we're going to record it, and that way it'll give me a better idea of exactly how much we're spending every week. And then I have saved the change, which is just adding up this bit of change to see what we've saved for the week. So having said that, this week, and cash is not included because, as I said, I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it, and I think I have. So we will be starting that next week. So 20, 20, and 38. So we spent $78. We didn't need to take from our buffer. We spent $78 from our bank account. No credit card spending, and cash I leave blank because we did spend cash, but I have not recorded it. So now I'm just going to add up, save the change. So we're doing $1.42 is what we did. And I do have my little tracker here that I purchased, and I am going to write down the change on here just out of complete interest. I started at the beginning of September, and I want to see in a year how much all these little bits of change add up. So ignore, I guess technically the weeks. Every week I'm just going to put it in here, and then we'll add it up. Okay, so that's that one done. We'll get that out of the way. Now let's get this money out of our account. So first things first, I am going to empty the change out of my purse because it's getting pretty full. Let's get all that. That goes in my little witchy jar. And when that gets full, we'll take it to the bank and put it in our savings account. So the first one we need here is in my spending in here, which is for me, $20. I usually only put $10 in for Starbucks, but yeah, I knew I was going to need it. So this is what I actually did for my wallet in the beginning. I've put a little transaction, so I'll put a little Sharpie marker in here and just write when I take money out. I'm not going to do it today for this. I'm going to wait until tomorrow, and if I take anything out, because I have our grocery money and gas, I want to know exactly what I'm spending and where it's going. So this is how I'm going to do it, and at the end of the week on a Sunday I will add it up and I can put the cash spending in. So that's just my wallet. So then we need to get some money out of, this is my business wallet binder, and let me mark that off. We took the 20 out of spending. We need to take 20 out of shipping, and there's 20 out of shipping. That's all I had in there. And supplies, we need $38 in supplies. And what do we have here? 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay, I'm really glad that I had change in there. So not much in there, but I'm about to stuff this probably this week sometime. I don't exactly know. So we should have $78 here. Let's double check. We have 20, 40, 60, 65, 70, 75, 76, 77, 78. So that is going back to the bank. And on here, I usually put how much we spent, and it was $78. So that's my week 1 of October spending. And I didn't even get my no spend stickers, but they're here somewhere. I'll get them later. But so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days out of 7 no spend. I'm really trying hard. Okay, so this here, I did a transaction log so that I can record every week. As I said, this is not going to have the cash in it, but I'm going to start it next week, and just start it. I'm not going to wait for the perfect time. So bank spending was $78, which is 78 here. So what I'll do next week is I'll add whatever we spend that week for bank, I'll add it to the balance so that when we get down to the end of the month, we'll know exactly how much we've spent in areas. Credit card spending was 0. Cash spending, I'm not filling that in, and save the change was $1.42. So that becomes $1.42, 0. And I'm just going to leave that to know that I'm not going to put 0 because then I'll think that we didn't spend anything, but we did. So that's that done. All right, so I'm going to do a bit of a debt confession. it's not from the beginning. I started this journey in May or June. I went head first into starting envelopes and everything, but I really had no idea where our money was going. So I stopped that and I started recording every every single expense. I wanted to know where our money was going, what I needed money for, and that's kind of how I did it. Now we got into a bit of a bind with our debt. So I know you guys saw the big payoff. You can see that, I've paid quite a bit off, but there's a bit of a story to that. So I thought that I would start so that you can see where we've come from. I really want to, it's more like a recap. Um, First of all, I really, I have no kids at home. It's just me and my husband. Doesn't mean to say that they don't need help sometimes, because they do. But I want to say that I admire so much everyone on this on this cash envelope budget system that have kids still at home. I don't know if I could have done it. Life is just so hectic and so busy, and coming from another country, sometimes that has its moments. But I really admire you. You have no idea. I'm immensely proud of you. I'm quite honoured to be able to watch your diligence and commitment. It's quite heartwarming. Um, I've had a bit of a hard life. I'm not going to get into too much, but I've always felt like this is going to turn into one of those videos. I'm sorry. Um, I always felt like I'm two steps behind everything in life. Um, and, some of it, a lot of it was my own doing, some of it wasn't. Had a pretty difficult childhood. And, I'm going to say it, so language warning. Shit happens and shit keeps on happening. And I got to the stage in my life that I realized that it was going to keep happening. And it wasn't about what happens. It was about how we dealt with it. And I almost came to like peace with it, that shit is always going to happen and it's inevitable. So it was really quite profound. I stopped worrying about, not worrying, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, yes, things happen. I need to deal with it better, because let me tell you, and I know every single one of you know this, that debt is stressful. Debt is consuming. It is overwhelming. It seems endless and never ending. And just when you think you've got a plan, guess what? Something happens. But the thing that I realize is that it's always going to happen. So, you younger people that are doing this is phenomenal, because you would have learnt the skills to be able to deal with that. And, it can consume you. That can absolutely consume you. And it definitely consumed us many times. But I wanted to just put from where we started. I think what I'm going to do is start up the top here with what we still owe. So we have one credit card left, and that is for Menards. Now, the starting balance for Menards was $2,481.53. So far, we have paid off $3,304.88. The ending balance $2,176.65. So we haven't paid it off, so it doesn't have a payoff date. So we are down $304.88, and our current balance is the $2,176.65. The next, now this is our very last credit card. Now, with writing this out, it gives you a different perspective on things, and you'll see why here in a minute. After this credit card is paid, we have 2 Discover loans that I am going to do everything I can to get them paid off in a year. I know that's a big ask, but I really want to get this debt gone. The reality that we're retiring in 2.5 years hit me, and I need to get these paid off. So I call them Discover 1 and 2. So Discover number 1. Now, this isn't the actual starting balance, but it was the starting balance from when I started to record our debt trackers. So at the time I started recording debt trackers, we owed on this one $4,280.30. We have paid off from when I started doing this $536.67. The ending balance is $3,743.63. We have not paid that off. And actually, I think I might change this a little bit. I am going to put on here how much we've actually paid off. Now, this was originally a $7,500 loan. So up until the last payments, which were the 15th of, they're due the 15th of every month. So up until the 15th of September, we have paid off $3,756.37. And of course, our ending balance is $3,743.63. Now, I pay more on this. The minimum payment for that one, hang on, I'm going to tell you what that is. The minimum, it's here. The minimum payment for Discover 1, we started, as I said, with $7,500. The minimum payment is $239.46. I pay $300. However, what I was going to do was I was going to pay this credit card off and then knock that out and hit the big one, which let's put this one down. But with doing this, I realized something that is been bugging me. So the starting balance on this one is $19,514.84. So far, we have paid $306.92. The ending balance after that payment was $19,207.92. And as of the beginning, now this was a $20,000 loan. So in total, we have paid off $792.08. And our ending balance is the same ending balance as $19,207.92. Now, so this was the order I was going to do it. But I actually would like everyone's opinion because this one here, I pay $500 a month off on this. The minimum payment on this is $491.73. Out of the $500, we are paying $300 and something interest, and that really bugs me. This one here, we're only paying $30 interest. The interest on this is crazy. So I'm wondering if I should do these minimum payments and then put all the extra on this one to get it down to some sort of resemblance of interest, because I just can't handle it. I mean, I make a $500 payment and only $150 is being paid off on the principal, and I can't handle it. So anyone's opinion would be really good. So on the grand scheme of things, this is what we owe, not including our house. Now, we came to a crunch time at the beginning of the year. Well, not beginning, when I started looking at this cash envelope system, we were sinking, and we were sinking fast. And having been in debt many times before and actually filed bankruptcy, my husband and I just didn't want to face it anymore. It was just, trying to make ends meet. I just couldn't do it. So we made an executive decision, which it took me a lot longer to get on board with than my husband, but he made sense to me. The credit cards that we had and the debt we had, the interest rates were so high that we weren't getting anywhere. So the one thing that we've been very diligent about is paying our mortgage and paying more off on our mortgage. So we decided to refinance and cash out some money to pay down these debts. And the theory behind it is the interest rate. Paying off the debt and getting a much lower interest rate will give us room to get the rest of this debt paid, and then once this is done, we hit the mortgage and we hit it hard. I still, it was one thing I never wanted to do. It's almost like sometimes you just feel so defeated, and I felt like it was another failure that, we had to pull an equity out of our house, and not all of it. We didn't pull all of it out, but I think we're just conditioned to beat ourselves up. But, in hindsight, when I look at it, we didn't take all the equity out of our house. And we got a lower interest rate, and we got to pay off this debt that had huge interest rates. So, it's like one of those things. So let me show you where we actually were. Okay, because I kind of want these on here because I like to look at it to see where we were. So we're going to start with every single debt that, actually not every debt I'm about to write was paid off with the equity. Some of this was paid off with hard work. So the one that I did at the beginning of this month, that one was not paid off. There's a couple that were not paid off by the equity loan, and I'm going to put them up top because they're the most recent. So Credit One Amex card, that had a balance of $1,677.67, and we paid $1,677.67, and we have an ending balance of $0, and we paid that off on October 5th this year. So that was a negative of $1,677.67 is what we paid off, and we have a $0 balance. The next one, I'm just going to mark these off as I go because I'll get confused because they're not in order. The next one was Sam's Club. Now, I still use my Sam's card to buy groceries because you get the cash back. But what I do is, once I've done my order, I do my weekly check. When I do my weekly check-in, I will write Sam's and I will pull that cash out of the envelope and I will pay that card off. so it only has a balance for a day or so, and then I pay it off. But the cashback is too good to ignore. So that had a balance of $897.93, and we paid $897.93. So our ending balance is zero, and we paid that off on 9/5 of this year. So that took our debt down again by $897.93. We have a zero balance. The next one was Capital One, and that had a balance of $2,524.36, and we paid it off. $2,524.36, and we have a zero balance, and that was paid on 9/1 of 23. So that took our what we owe down by $2,524.36 with a zero balance. And then we start hitting some big ones here. So let's start from the beginning here. Okay, so I had some Affirm accounts, which we all know. That was $250 of 44. We paid the $250.44, which is a zero balance, and that was paid on 8/25 of 23. Took us down $250.44, and that had a zero balance. I had another Affirm. So in the midst of, let me explain this. So in the midst of trying to figure out what to do with our debt, our hot water went out, and we had to purchase another hot water system, and it was $1,800 and $1,800. Hence why I didn't stop at $1,000 for our emergency fund. I wanted at least $2,000 in there for those reasons. A true emergency, I needed it to cover so that we would not fail at doing this. And then 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, my stove died. So I had to get another one. And so Menards, that $2,500 was a stove and a hot water system. And then the next day, my dishwasher went out. It was like, you got to the point where you just had to laugh, because what else could we do? It was just, and this is what this Affirm was $735.70 for a damn dishwasher. And we paid that off. And we did that. I'm just putting 8/25. I don't remember exactly the day that we did it, but honestly, at this point, it was like, if all those things happened to me 2 years ago, I think I would have had a breakdown. But we just did what we did and dealt with it. And it made it better. I know that other people don't deal with things that way. I internalize everything. As I think I said in my first video, I suffer really badly with anxiety and depression, and I am the world's best masker. People don't know, not even my husband, not even any of my family. I can hide my emotion perfectly, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. Internalize it. Just really, the older I'm getting, the harder it is to recoup from it. So I'm trying to teach myself. Like today, I kind of sound down. I know that I've paid off a lot. I know that I made that big payment to Credit One. It was so exciting. And then I'm looking at this and I'm looking at our budget, and it's kind of like deflating, when you've paid something off and you've got the momentum going, then all of a sudden you're like, well, hang on a minute. I don't have a lot of cash in this next budget to put towards debt. And I'm kind of like, oh no. But, I've got to snap myself out of it. I will not quit doing this. I absolutely love it. I know everyone's very supportive, and I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm just kind of emotional tonight. But doing things like this, I have to look back and I have to give myself praise for trying to figure things out. So the next one that I'm going to put on here is another Credit One. So we had two Credit One cards, just a regular Credit One, and then we had a Credit One Amex. And that one was $634.80, and we paid that. No balance, and that'll be $825.23 So another $634.80, zero balance. Okay, and then we had Wayfair. Now, I had this card for about 2 years before I used it, and then, life happened and it got built up. So $3,054.76. We paid that off. There's a zero balance, and that was part of the payouts that we did with the equity. So another $3,054.76 off there. We have a zero balance. Then we have a Walmart card. Well, it's Capital One, but I do the same with Walmart and Sam's. I buy the groceries, I pull the cash, I pay the card off, but you also get cash back with the Walmart card as well. So these two get used, but they get paid off like the same week. Let me see. Walmart got up to $3,579.66, and we paid that off. $3,579.66. Zero balance. That was an $825. And another $3,579.66 coming off. I'm sorry this is such a long video, guys, but I just felt that, everyone does their debt confessions. I just felt that I needed, when I talk about my debt and everything, I wanted to explain that, not all of this was just from saving and paying off. We did some things to make it happen. So the next one was Wells Fargo, and that had a balance of $4,941, and we paid that. $4,941, zero balance, and we paid that on $825.23. So down $4,941, and we have a zero balance on that card too. And then the last one from the equity was the Citibank, and that was my Costco card, and that was up to $6,047.90, and we paid that. And the interesting thing out of all of this, in 2019, which is 4 years ago, we only had our mortgage. That was the only debt we had. 2019 was probably one of the biggest years of my life. There was a lot of trauma. A lot of things happened in 2019 that I will never want to relive, but I put it this way: I had to fly out to Nevada twice. I helped my stepfather, who's like a father to me, pass away with Parkinson's, and take care of my mum. In the meantime, I had to fly home to Australia after that. My brother had a crazy ex-girlfriend, and it got really bad. Excuse me. And I had to be there for him because my mother couldn't be there for him because she was grieving and she couldn't leave. And I went and stayed with him. And put it this way, he was left with nothing but the clothes on his back and his vehicle. She took everything. She took everything, and destroyed it. She burnt his passport, his um, birth certificate, all the family heirlooms he had gone. It was just devastating, and I had to pay. He had no money. I had to pay um, to rent another place and to buy furniture. And he's my brother, and I did that, and it was very difficult coming back. I managed to not get into debt. Maybe a little bit of debt at that time, but I managed to pay that off. And then, in 21, what are we, 23, 22, I had to go home for another emergency, and that left me at home for 7 months. And, Liz would, once she goes home, she's going to realize just how expensive that is. And for me not to have an income for 7 months, oh, it hit hard. And so this is where a lot of this came from. But that's what I'm talking about, life. It's just, it can change in an instant. I mean, we had a mortgage payment. That was it in 2019. And then in May of 2023, we owed nearly $70,000. It's just insane. Anyway, let's get back onto this. We paid the $6,047.90, and that has a zero balance. And then before we got the equity loan, I did pay some things off. Some little ones like a Carter's. I have a Carter's credit card that I usually only use for my grandkids back in Australia because clothing's cheaper to buy here, and it's the opposite season. So, like now, I just did clearance shopping for summer because they're going into summer, and that's how I try and be part of their lives, or try and help my son. Um, you know, just trying to be Nana without being there. So we paid that off, and we paid that off at 8/18/23. I wanted to get rid of these small ones um, in anticipation of getting the equity loan. We also had a small affirm that I got rid of, and that was for $112.08, and we paid that off. And zero, and that was on 8/18 too. So that was down another $112.08 with a zero balance. And last but not least, I had a Coles card, which that was paid off forever, but I went to visit my son in Nebraska, and first time on his own, he just had no money, and he needed shoes and he needed clothes. So I used the card for that, but I paid it off, and that was paid off on 8/16/23. So that took that down. So the grand total, I'm not going to fill this part in because I'm going to go from October. So November, we'll recap these and we'll do this. But my overall debt progress, so the total that we owed at that time, and it was including my vehicle, we owed $68,396.15. And it traumatized me. It just absolutely traumatized me. This month, if we add up what we owe, 65 plus 3743, 63 plus 19207.92 should equal, I didn't get the same amount, but anyway, I did something wrong. No? 1, 2, No, I did something wrong on my other one. So this month, so now our actual debt, not including the house, is $25,128.20. So we have paid off $43,267.95. So that means we have paid off 43,267.95 divided by 68,396.15. We have paid off 63.3% of our debt. So over halfway. But this is where I've got 25,000, and I did write out my debt trackers. So this is where we're starting from the beginning of September. I do record the interest because it just makes it easier for me. The minimum payment is $125, and I totally forgot, and I just paid the normal $154. Of course, it can't hurt. So that's where we're at. We're coming up to, I thought I made a payment on that. Oh no, remember I paid all the bills on the 15th check. Okay, so that's that one. Discover. Now you can see here the interest is $30 odd. I make a $300 payment. And I'm wondering if I should drop that to $240 and take that extra $60 and put it on this hellacious. Look at the interest on this. I pay $500 and I pay $345 odd in interest. It's just insane to me. It's just insane, and I don't know. I don't know if I should just lower the Menards down to the 125 and take the extra. What's that? 29, say $30. So $30 plus $60 is $90. So, I don't know. I'd love to know what you think about that. So here we have, I wrote down this, and it's so I figured out that the reason I chose peace signs, because once this is in, it's peace. Every time I color in a peace sign, it gives me peace. So let's see how much, I've got it here. We have paid off $43,267.95 and divide that by, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30. There's 40 peace signs. So I divided that original balance by 40 and $1,710 per peace sign. So let's divide what we've paid off so far by the 1,710. So we get to color in 25 peace signs. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 up until here. I'm going to color these in, but I am going to fast forward through this so you don't have to watch that. I found my old markers. Sorry for the noise. My old pack. So we're going to take these, and I will speed through this so you don't have to watch, but I just think it's time I should do it. Here we go. Hi, I'm back. My phone died, and I'm using a new stand for my phone, and everything just went awry, right? So anyway, I just went ahead and colored that in, and we have 5, 10, 15 more payments. 15 more payments. I might I think this is a lot to try and track. I mean, a lot to get there to track. I think I'll make another tracker where every 100, just to make it, you've got to inspire yourself somehow, and that's how I feel I'm going to do it. So that's my little deck confession slash recap, where I've come from, and this will be, I'm telling you, this is going to be the last time that I'm ever going to have to write stuff like this out. I'm not going to let it defeat me. I was feeling down, but it actually feels good to talk about some stuff. And I'm sorry that it was kind of like one of those videos. But anyway, what's everyone buying for Prime Day? I'd love to know if you could put in the comments. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but if I can get a good deal, then, why not? I also want to take a moment to thank everybody that has purchased from me. I'm just so humbled by it, to be honest. A lot of my crafting, creating comes from a place of anxiety. So it's kind of like where I lose myself and be creative. And I love making these savings challenges. I think that it's just really imperative to success. And I appreciate every single one of you that have purchased from me. I truly appreciate you. And with my new bingo game, I'm wondering if I should do like a weekly, Saving with Shalonda does. I know that Anne does a lot of savings with people, and I really like that idea. I think, coming together as a community and trying to help each other out is a fantastic idea. So if you feel like you'd, like to play bingo with me once a week, put it down in the comments and we'll see what I can do with that. So I guess the only thing that I would like to say is thank you so much for sticking around this far. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. If you like the videos I'm putting out, please subscribe. I understand, if you don't want to subscribe, then if you could just like or even give me a comment, that would be great. And for now, it's very late on a Sunday night and I am going to go to bed. So I will catch you next time. So peace out, people. Stay good. Think positive thoughts and let's do this together. Have a great week. Bye.